Hello and welcome to the Versatile Artist in Conversation with. The resonance to this new format on my channel has been overwhelming. Thank you so much for all your lovely comments, for all your support. I'm so thrilled that this interview with my first guest, Susanne Falk, spoke so well to you. I'm happy to say that this feedback has encouraged me to find another artist I could interview in this kind of fashion. The one you will meet today is an artist through and through. She was born in Vienna into a family of classical musicians from Denmark and Japan, and decided, as her biography on her website states, for another yet not too distant art form, that of interpreting the human condition. She was trained at the prestigious Royal Central School of Speech and Drama and has since built an impressive career that spans from London to Tokyo, both on the stage and in front of the camera. She has graced the screen alongside Academy Award winners and Hollywood A-listers Tim Robbins and Kim Basinger, and worked with directors such as Kanji Shimizu, Peter Patzak, Michael Winterbottom and Andres Morgenthaler. When you first see her, her introverted nature might make you underestimate her. While I do believe that her being this kind-hearted, gentle, intelligent, and beautiful human being inside and out are all strengths human nature should embrace more, you will be surprised what a force of nature she is when she slips into a role. Her CV indicates great versatility, but wait until you see her. You will be mesmerized by her energy and her ability to switch from character to character that could not be more from the opposite side of the spectrum from each other. Incidentally, in 5 different languages: English, German, Japanese, Danish, and French. Over the last 12 years, I've worked with her on multiple projects, both on stage and on film. Her sensitivity for each character, the curiosity with which she dives into their journeys, and her incredible skill combined with talent to physically immerse herself in them and breathing life into someone who up until then only existed in the writer's imagination and on paper, is absolutely captivating. When you see her perform, you see a true artist. I'm delighted beyond belief to welcome today Nina Falk. Welcome. Thank you for being here. Hi. How are you?
Hi, Romana. Thank you. I'm all right. Thank you. I feel quite, flattered by this wonderful text you've written about me. I feel very humbled, actually. Wow. Thank you.
Yeah, it often is huge different how other people perceive someone than the way we see ourselves, right?
Totally. Yeah, I did for one moment think, who's that you're talking about? That sounds incredible. Wow. I want to be that person.
Yeah, that's absolutely you.
Yeah, although I think I mean the 5 languages. I mean, I do put language as my thing, my sort of asset, but I think maybe French and German, French or German, yes, but French and Danish are not my absolute strengths, if I may, admit that. But yeah.
I'm sure they're both much better than my Italian and Portuguese.
Oh, really? Okay.
I'm pretty sure.
I can speak gobbledygook very, very convincingly. It's like, a bit of oui, maman. Yeah, tack.
Very good. Very good.
Hello, yeah. So no, yeah. But okay, I got myself in a Verliebtheit here. But yeah, cool. Nice to be seeing you.
Yeah, nice to see you. You know who introduced us first? Our friend Julia, friend and our colleague Julia, and it was for a production or a theater production that I produced and you directed.
And that's been almost 12. No, it's been more than 12 years ago. The premiere was in January 2009.
No way.
Yeah, like forever. It's incredible, isn't it?
I stumble across, because you made this wonderful program, right, with the photos of you guys and the Florian, and I saw the photos of you both, and I was like, oh my God, like babies,
Yeah,
like I mean, in like a wonderful sense, like oh my God, that kind of innocence there, and
I like
I mean, what a production. I mean, I never saw myself, really directing. And I think we agreed, yeah, I'm kind of acting, coaching you and kind of directing, sort of like,
yeah. But it was
yeah.
beautiful. It was really beautiful. The rehearsal period was it really opened a lot inside of me, a lot of things I couldn't access before. So I yeah, I learned so much from you. And since then, of course, I've always kept an eye on your career. And it's such an interesting career that you're having, because um of course you have a certain background, and I will ask you something about that in general right afterwards. But that opens probably some more doors, but at the same time it can be difficult, I think, because that's what we talked about in the past sometimes. um, but the roles that you're choosing are so different from each other, and there's so many facets that you're showing, and it's always surprising and it's always powerful to see you on screen but also on stage. So growing up as someone, your parents are Danish and Japanese. You grew up here, then you went to an international school here. Afterwards, you studied in or got trained in London at the Central School of Speech and Drama. So, how do you think all this upbringing and this whole journey has really shaped you and your career as well?
Wow, yeah, it's I think everything that one experiences, every person that one touches upon, everything that is part of what makes you as part of your makeup, also as a creative person. And I think, yeah, really the fact that my parents are musicians, that it wasn't only two or three languages, physical languages in a household, like let's say Japanese and yeah, German, because my dad being Danish and diplomatic, he wouldn't, he was like, okay, let's keep away the Danish and like focus on the German. So okay, let's say two languages, but there was another language, and that was the language of music.
Mhm.
And to be a kind of witness of that and part of that, and to grow up with that, I was just surrounded by music all the time, because like musicians are, contrary to maybe us actors, we can be a bit lazy sometimes. They really do practice every single day, you
Mhm.
know and I'd like to say I practice acting every single day, but it's kind of hard, isn't it? Because you need someone to interact with. But let's
Mhm.
say, okay, musicians, yeah, discipline. So they practice every single day, and it does something with you. I guess the vibrations or whatever, the tunes, the stuff kind of gets into your bones, into your cells. So I'm deeply grateful that you know whatever the universe chose me to land in my parents' lap, and them being who they are,
Mhm.
and doing what they do, and the whole international sort of background was a fantastic way to learn. Or I mean, that was just my reality always. That was the best place for me to get schooling, because it was like we were just kids from all over the place, and from diverse backgrounds, but also diverse interests. And I mean, I was always very introverted,
Mhm.
but I think the meeting certain teachers at school who
Mhm.
kind of, lots of, there were lots of things that I hated at school. as one does. But certain teachers really tickled this creativity and this desire to sort of do something, make something, to feel like I have a voice. They tickled that out of me, and I'm very grateful to them. So again, people I met, and going to London was like, and to Royal Central School of Speech and Drama, that was like, that just had to happen, and it was also a fantastic experience. It's like also not just as an actor, but life lessons learned there. And the process never ends. You always keep on learning a lot of the practices, a lot of the techniques, or let's say observation methods and whatever we learned at drama school. They don't end there. I can keep applying them and keep learning new aspects to them. So yeah, and even beyond that point, everything I experience, I think, is part of the kind of toolbox, or what one of my wonderful voice teachers used to say, Pandora's box. You can keep adding stuff to your Pandora's box, and and applying them, or or maybe they just sort of do start working through you without you even having to do anything. Yeah, so I don't know if that answers your question.
Yes, absolutely. So you auditioned for the Central School of Speech and Drama right after your eight levels, or did you pursue anything else? So it was absolutely clear when you finished, and that you wanted to go to London for your actors training. Definitely.
Yes, I actually, as soon I was doing an IB, actually, so International Baccalaureate, and I was also doing IB drama, and I made it part of my IB sort of final sort of deeper level project, or you had to sort of give off, no, you have to prepare a project, like a sort
Yeah.
of self-made project where you chose a focus. So I decided to make me auditioning for drama school my kind of project for my IB sort of final, and so it was kind of like a live experiment on myself. So everything from choosing the monologues. I think you had to choose like classical and a contemporary, maybe more, at least two. Sort of preparing them, testing them with sort of some audience and whatever, or teacher, and then going around the drama schools and auditioning. I didn't I auditioned for like, I think, 5 or 6 different, quite a few drama schools, but I knew I wanted to go to Central. And I got into two, so Central and another one, and was still in the sort of, I think, second or third round for another one, I think, RADA. But I was like, yeah, I'm going to Central. So
Yeah,
yeah.
when you know, right? When you
Yes,
when you feel that's it, that's the school. I mean, I had that with auditions where I actually knew when I just entered the room, this is not my school. Did you have
Hmm.
that as well?
Yeah,
Yeah. And
you
with
feel
some
it.
others, and the one I went to, basically, I was like, oh, it's home. It wasn't always
Yeah,
easy, but it was easier in a sense because I felt right there.
absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
And
great.
feeling at home is like, it's not just like this domestic thing, and being sort of, all right, I can make a cup of tea, or it's more
Yeah,
like that. You're you can trust the place that the space you're in, and that this is a place maybe where you can learn
mhm,
and make mistakes, and
yeah.
fall down and stand back up again, because that's what it's about, right? This environment is to learn.
Very much, very, very much. Yeah. Did
Mm.
you, through these 3 years while you were at Central School of Speech and Drama, did you already audition for acting jobs? Was that possible along?
It was at the first 2 years, absolutely not.
Mhm,
I mean, there were, I think by the third year, there were a couple of people who were starting to get interest from agents, and starting to be sort of submitted, and I got an agent within the third year. I mean, that's when we started also to do public productions.
Mhm.
For me, I mean, I think, hat off to anyone who had the luck or, the chance to get a job.
Mhm.
Just go and grab it, because that's when also the real journey begins. Is like, do the jobs. But no, I was quite like, no, I really want to complete the whole journey. I want to complete this thing, and if possible, actually not work. I mean, of course, work after I finish, but not work during. And I did do one or two auditions, like just before ended. But I think in my head I was like, I want to finish my
Mhm.
third year. So, yeah, but I did a couple of auditions, and of course the transition from being kind of a acting student, or sort of the poor student, to being sort of, yeah, out in the business is quite a big step.
Yeah.
um
What
quite
were,
quite scary.
yeah. What
Mm.
do you think were the greatest challenges there? Did you stay in London right after your graduation?
I did, yeah. I didn't have any. I didn't really have any plans. I was like, ooh, start making theatre, or or even yeah, we had a sort of this group of us, and we were like, yeah, let's make our own theatre, let's do our own kind of complicity, and let's do this. Which we didn't for a while, but we did at some point we did. But the challenge was, I think, not to lose your integrity.
Yeah.
You could get pulled out into this thing of, you're in the business, you have to sell yourself now, you got to be ready, you got to be on the ball, you got to go there and there, you got to meet these people, create chances, agents, casting director. Like, there was almost this sort of, kind of reverence, like, oh my God, I'm in this big wide world now, and I'm competing with all these people. So yeah, all this competing and all that,
Mhm.
which is actually a wrong concept, I think, because everyone's an absolute individual. But to sort of be torn out like that, and then to actually still maintain your integrity, and all this artistry you learn, to not to lose that,
Mhm.
because I think you run danger of sort of wanting to please, and wanting, just wanting too much,
Yeah. Yeah.
especially in the beginning, and then all your this, Pandora's box and all this wonderful sensitive work you've kind of, harnessed, might get lost.
Yeah. But that's something I've always admired about you and your work, that you're always truthful to yourself. You're truthful to the characters and the roles that you're choosing, but in that you're always truthful to yourself. I think that really radiates through everything that you do. And that's really not easy, because as an actor you have to earn money, obviously, to pay the bills. And of course the temptation to do things that, yeah, pull you away from that truthfulness is very big when yeah, the bills are piling up, basically. So it's very understandable, and it's even more admirable when someone really sticks to that. And I think that's what makes your career, from my point of view, so cohesive, because it has this very strong progression. It has this variety of all these different characters, of all these very different projects, the people that you have worked with, um, and I think that makes it so strong as well. Because on the long run, especially with acting careers, it's not about the big break. It's about the consistency. It's about doing this for many, 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 many years.
Mhm.
Um, and I always say, for example, I don't want to retire ever, because why should I? It's
Yes.
my hobby that has become my job. So of course I'm going to do that for the rest of my life, I think,
I'm
in
gonna
one or
die
the other way.
acting.
Yeah, yeah. But
Yeah.
that's really, I think that's really where you stand out to me, of the actors that I have had always the pleasure to work with. You have this very cohesive kind of career. It's very special. And yeah, I mean, you should never compare yourself to anyone, obviously, but yeah, I hugely admire that about you, and how you do your career. You might not even think about it. I don't know, maybe I should not have addressed it. So, oh my god, what am I
Really?
doing?
No,
Really?
I'm quite, yeah, I am actually quite surprised how you just described this just now, like that there's a kind of, this like that truthfulness and being with oneself and the cohesiveness, because I quite often actually I felt really out of control, like, you don't have decision making is not with you, you're kind of hanging in there, hang gliding and hoping someone will give you the permission to do the job. But I guess from how you described it, it's quite nice to know, actually, maybe, so maybe in my moments of do I give up or where, of angst, I can try and remember your words and say, no, it's okay.
We have recorded it. You can always look back.
Exactly. It's like session.
Yeah.
Yes, yeah, I mean, yeah, grounded and all truthful. Crazy inside.
And how do you choose your roles? That's
Yeah, well, that's a nice question, because often you think, okay, I don't even get to choose my roles. They choose me. But no, actually, of course I choose my roles, and I guess, and how do I choose to interpret them? I think that's the next level. But first of all, yeah, I think, I just love the challenge. I love the challenge of being, in a different kind of someone else's skin, um, in a mode of thinking and feeling differently from me,
Mhm,
and touching on new perspectives. And I think so. The more different a role is,
mhm,
the better.
mhm,
And I think the complexity of a role is really what draws me to them, and what I try to draw out when I work on them.
mhm,
The complexity can be as simple as, so it's complex and simple, as them having a lot of paradoxes, and I think always that search of, that's the truth of being human. I guess we're all full of total paradoxes. You kind of, you know black and white, this and that, yeah, I don't know. You love being near close to people, but at the same time you have a sort of scared of touch or something. I don't know what, I don't know, like something that's very, paradox. And I think, so complexity, um, obviously the story and the relationships to the other characters. How, how is that? Where's the drama, or where, yeah, the comedy or whatever in that? The complexity in that. And I guess it's also not, just the character, but actually, yeah, what story am I telling, and in what story am I? And I
yeah,
think
yeah,
that's also very, very important. Like, who am I working with? What story are we telling?
mhm,
um what kind of form is this? What genre? Like, I love to, mix jump genres, not to be just
mhm,
stuck in one thing.
mhm,
So that's very important. And I think, or what story needs to be told. If I get, sort of a breakdown or story, I think, wow, this story, yeah, the world needs to hear this story.
mhm. Yeah,
That really does have a very important part in
yeah,
choosing.
yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I've heard that someone told me that even at school, because you have a very strong uh, background in physical techniques to acting,
Yeah.
and I was told that you were already at school, at this international school, very strong, and you impressed people very deeply with that,
Oh,
because you were so captivating in that. Where do you think does that come from? Where did you already have some input from that, or did this originally just come from you, or was it inspired by those teacher that you mentioned, or teachers that you mentioned at school?
I think it's a combination the real beginning. I think the music, I think music is movement. It's
Yes.
absolutely
Yeah. True. Yeah.
total movement. And I was always like moving, moving, jumping around. I don't know what,
Mhm.
skipping from table to table and chair to chair. Like I was always dancing. I was like, just
Mhm.
throw me out in the forest somewhere, I'll just start dancing. So I was always moving, and I think that was my language, as well as singing. So I think I had a bit of that kind of like Broadway. I want to be on Broadway. That kind of dream. And and finally, I think what resonated most strongly with me was the movement and voice work. Voice work is also movement. So I think the movement work was what really for me grounded everything for me. In terms of sort of the character work, the sort of whatever storyline plot, the kind of objects, everything kind of for me assimilated into this thing of it's all movement.
Mhm.
And I think that's in terms of transformation, in terms of just um, posture is the wrong word, but there's a lovely word, in German, Haltung. Haltung is not just posture, but it's also
Yeah.
your
Internal
viewpoint, your
attitude in some way.
attitude, exactly, to life, to people. Um, and and to be alive is to move, isn't it? The moment you stop moving, you're dead. I guess, and that's the same with breathing is that constant movement. And so yeah, movement work is is everything for me.
Yeah.
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 Mm.
And how do you prepare for your roles? How do you start?
Ooh, it's
Always
very
different.
very different, yeah. Like I say, like I'm jumping genres. So every part is always very different.
Yeah.
So it really depends on what I'm working with,
Yeah.
um, and how much information do I have. So how much decision making do I need to make, or how much dialogue do I then need to have with the director or the writers or whatever. So I think most certainly I will seek kind of as much as possible a kind of dialogue with whoever has written or created this character, to sort of try sort of do sort of the detective work and do
Mhm.
the sort of the research or whatever, that kind of whatever, find what interests me. So that word you said, like, that, go with the curiosity, and sort of kind of instinctively let yourself really create a fully fleshed human being, where even they have their bad sides, good sides, doubtful sides, I don't know what, wonderful sides. They have potentials maybe that they never realize, whatever. But to really, never belittle them, never, they're sort of, yeah, like, I guess you want to talk to a little child, but without them being, without looking down upon them, but really being on a level with them. And then, I guess it's process of becoming, and like that's
Yeah.
very hard to describe, but
Yeah.
yes, it happens, I guess.
Speaking of the pandemic, this has had such an incredible impact on, of course, everybody, but artists are really affected very much by it. And so, how have you been dealing with the whole situation?
Oh, it's been, yeah. I mean, obviously, there were different phases of dealing with it, because I guess the development of this pandemic or global pandemic situation, and the reaction to it was always, it was kind of developmental.
Mhm.
So I mean, at first it was like when everything just sort of shut down like a year ago. I think it was, there was a lot of frustration. There was a lot of like stuff that I was planning to do. I was going to go to London for a show, and all that kind of was kind of gone.
Mhm.
And so the kind of void that presented itself so quickly was then, well, I saw it as a moment to sort of embrace and to sort of say, okay, stop for a moment. Maybe this is a sign. Yeah. Stop for a moment and breathe and practice. And do what you want to do, or do what you feel in this moment within what you can do, and take it simple, take it easy. And I guess that was kind of maybe something I needed to do anyway, because I did see myself kind of running around and trying to manage everything, and it was getting quite frenetic up to March 2020. So yeah, I kind of embraced it, and like I think everyone started doing, take every day as it comes.
Mhm.
I rediscovered stuff like practices I'd done, ages ago, but rediscovered, stuff like qigong and sort of standing meditation and all these things that I actually found I loved, because it's so simple and you can do it anywhere. You just stand there and you just sort of root yourself, and it's a wonderful way to empty yourself, and I think that kind of emptying process was very, as an artist, was very good. And then, I guess the sort of thing about, karma or something, a couple of things started coming in, like a few projects started happening, like we could realize our project in the end as well. And also a few sort of projects that were sort of possible within the framework, so very with very little cast, or just myself and just very small crew team, and started happening. And maybe also because some artists and filmmakers I know, they have sort of their little babies and projects, but they just never realize them because they're sort of running around, and or
Yeah.
they're sort of this indecision, or they're just doing other people's project. But if it comes to theirs, it's kind of maybe this procrastination. But now was a moment, or then was a moment to say, yeah, let's do this thing now, And so yeah, so I got to actually meet a couple of really great people, great creatives, and that was quite good. Yeah, it was not a lot, but I really enjoyed these
Yeah.
new possibilities.
Yeah. Other
Mm.
than No Mother, you did 2 or 3 other short films, and one was in the mountains, right?
Yes, an art film with a artist called Anja Krautgasser, and that was really, oh my God, that was just before our shoot
Yeah.
at No Mother. Oh, it was, I mean, the place where we shot it in Tirol, in Osttirol. Oh my God. Yeah, if I can say, if I may blaspheme, yeah, that was as close to heaven I thought I was. It was just an incredible landscape, and it's I think it's called Defferingtal. It's really a place. It's really quite untouched by humanity. I mean, there's no sign, there's no sort of like electricity poles or whatever. It's really just wild, beautiful nature, and incredible. Yeah. And I guess that was, I mean, the simple task of that part or role was just walking through this incredible nature, you know, and it was just like this, it's like kind of walking meditation. It's just walking,
Yeah.
and keeping this heartbeat, and just being in this amazing place. So that was it was also quite physically challenging. I
Yeah.
didn't realize how hard walking can be.
Oh yeah.
Jump around and all that, but
Mountains. Yeah.
walking. Wow. So that was really a wonderful challenge. And I think the film will be finished quite soon.
Mm.
Well, let's see. And so I'm quite excited what will come of it. And
Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I'm also interested to see that one because yeah, I mean because our filming started right afterwards. I was and you shared some really beautiful things with us, so I'm super curious to see it finally when it's out.
Yes, yeah, me too. I'm very curious because I
Yeah.
saw a few sort of like a sort of rough cut of it, and so I'm like, wow. And I mean, because we shot so much, and obviously in the end you have like, yeah, maybe it's going to be a short film, so it's very pared down. But depending on how it's edited,
Mm.
it could be a completely different film. So your subjective experience of the shoot versus then how the final product is also always very different. So that's always a very exciting process. Because the film, I guess, like as a filmmaker, the journey it takes after it's been, in the can, it's complete.
Right.
It's a whole nother journey.
Yes, it is. Yeah,
Mm.
yeah. Are there any roles you would like to play, explore? Something either existing or something like something that is existing.
Oh wow.
Dream roles in the first.
Dream roles, yeah.
Mhm.
It's oh yeah, it's very hard not to compare oneself and but then say, okay, well, they already did it, so they're perfect, so no, we don't need another one. But I guess I can only kind of refer to sort of the classics because I think they kind of surmise the yeah, not archetypes maybe, but yeah, kind of close to yeah. But I guess something like I never got to play Juliet and Romeo and Juliet. I mean, I did for we did a sort of workshop thing, but actually like perform.
Yeah. Mhm.
And that's really weird. I think, oh, and maybe I'm past the age, but maybe it's like yeah, older Juliet. And what about an older Juliet and a Romeo
Yeah, why not?
story? And it sounds like such a, but I find that story, I mean, it's, you could say, oh, cheesy and all that, but I think Romeo and Juliet is such a incredibly exciting story. I mean, also about this kind of the feud of the families and that the love is not just the pure thing, the love between two people or, the hormones or whatever it is that has happening, but also the everything around it. And I think, I guess, one experiences that, I guess, on a personal side, like in life as well, like, it's like love is the most simplest thing, but everything around it, and things and family or whatever, or people and things and politics or whatever, it's so complicated. It makes it so complicated.
Yeah.
So yeah,
Yeah,
maybe not.
external things make it complicated. I think that's very true. The love itself is not complicated at all.
No.
Not at all. I mean, if two
No.
people are just clear about it, there's nothing that can make it complicated. But yes, external things can really jeopardize a lot.
A lot.
Yeah.
Um, so yes, maybe something like that. And I mean, I guess I mean I was always like interested in and have done a little bit, sort of science fiction and stuff. But I
Mhm.
couldn't tell you exactly, which character I'd want to, yeah, play in that way. But yeah, anything that yeah, requires transformation. I guess that's
Like
that's kind of
also
my
like
thing.
physical transformation, like costumes and
Also,
quite
yeah.
a lot of mask and
Yeah, I mean, not yet, or I mean, and I wouldn't say I'm a mask kind of wearing expert, but I loved, working with masks. For example, as a cat in a Japanese no play, it was really like, oh my God, that's where really the physical work comes in because you can't do anything with your face. You just,
yeah,
the
yeah,
all the expression comes through the body.
yeah,
And yeah, it was a half mask, so of course talking, yes, but
yeah,
you know. And you hardly see anything, so you're really sort of half blind. You're
yeah,
kind of relying on all your senses to sort of keep your balance, and actually not fall over or fall off the stage.
yeah, yeah.
And you need to kind of you talk and actually kind of emit this the life of the mask kind of.
Sure. Yeah, yeah,
Really, and it's like when you wear a mask, you have to have this moment where you kind of meet the mask, and then you kind of, and it was with this mask, it was a bit like, like the mask just sort of just like welded itself with me, and it was really quite like, yeah, kind of a spiritual
was
thing.
it
Like
all over? Yeah, was it all over the face? Like,
it was a half mask,
ah,
so it was like yeah, so it covered my most part of my so eyes and nose, and the mouth was free for speaking.
okay, but the breathing was in a way affected because when the nose is, even if there are holes in there, but in a way
Yes.
it is affected, right?
It is, yeah, I guess, just breathe through your mouth, you dry out very quickly.
Yeah.
So you have to really control your breath. Yeah, you see very little. I mean, that was more the shocking thing. It's like you just hardly see anything.
Oh yeah, yeah.
You really like sort of tunnel vision.
Mhm.
So, but that I think kind of gives access, like when you shut out senses, I think the other senses, they turn on,
Mhm.
they come to life.
Yeah,
So I think that's also very interesting.
yeah,
All
yeah.
this question about sort of, yeah, listening as an actor, like you listen with your body as well. You don't just listen. So that was a very interesting
Yeah.
experience.
And are there
Yeah.
directors, any particular directors you would really like to work with? I mean, not that any other is not interesting to work with, but someone specific or some people specifically.
Oh, I have to be, I don't know, careful. No, I don't know. I mean, oh gosh. I mean,
It
this
only
is,
means basically that you admire their work particularly, but that doesn't exclude the others, I think.
yeah, I mean, it's very hard to, um, I think for a long time I had my list of people, like, yeah, make your list of people who you always wanted to work with. And yeah, it did end up being quite a few, I guess, yeah, filmmakers. And I think I always loved the films of like P.T. Anderson, and
Yeah.
like for the kind of like that kind of meeting of like kind of very strong drama, and then the kind of almost like a kind of parallel world, or like kind of something quite fantastical. And I guess, now that we're also seeing more female directors on the rise, thank you very much. But why not, also like, I don't know, I've loved the work of Jane Campion. So, I mean, like, if I'm looking back, but, I'd love to meet more female directors, who are not only given the permission, but finding the courage and the confidence to make their films, and feature films as well. So yeah, there's countless female directors. I guess I can't even say, I can't name them. Um, and what else? Yeah, in terms of theatre, I mean, my first sort of love was obviously Complicité. Everyone, I, and so that was always a kind of dream. But it's like, I don't know, maybe that has shifted now. So maybe it's someone else now that I'd love to work with. But I mean, all the people I've met so far, or who have come to me, I mean, I always felt like, actually, yeah, wow, they're great. What wonderful artists. And I'm always very excited to see how their work and their career is developing. And then I realized, wow, I'm so chuffed to have worked with these people, or to be working with these people. So I couldn't, so the people that are actually, I'm actually working with, I'm so, I'm thrilled to be with. I can't say, but still, I really want to work with Marty Scorsese or whatever. I don't know. So it's like, no, I think, it's good, great as it is.
Mhm, mhm.
You know,
Yeah. Okay. And finally, is your three top tips for aspiring actors? What would you, if someone asked you, if someone approached you, hey, I would like to become an actor, what kind of three top tips would you give me?
yeah. Well, yes. Fucking sorry to swear. Do it, and do it with your whole heart, and you might get, you know, a rough ride at points. But yeah, do it. It's a marathon. It's not a race. It's a marathon. Like, we know it's a long journey. It's not just like, so yeah, build up that stamina. Stay true to yourself. Don't give up. Stay positive. I guess that's more than three pieces of advice, but they all kind of join into each other.
Yeah.
Mm, and I guess, yeah, yeah, don't compare yourself to others. Like, you are you will find your unique voice,
Mhm,
and stay true to that.
mhm.
um and be your own self and your true artist, and you'll be fine. Yeah, I guess that's,
Thank you.
I think too often people are, discouraged from taking on a, a career that's, or trying out it's not just a career. Yeah, it's a life way of life, right? We discover. So choosing a way of life that actually is maybe perceived as, oh, well, that's actually kind of a little luxury, or it's like, come on, it's not a real job, right? For most people, right? And or and actually, no, it's absolutely, it's the most amazing. So if you get to do it, and if you give yourself that you might have to create your own work at some point as well. You create your own opportunities, like, enjoy it. It's the most wonderful job. For me, it's the most wonderful job in the world. It's and there's a lot, it's a lot of work. Might be might be a privilege that I'm still able to do it and survive and have a roof over my head. Find a way to survive. Goes without saying. But what an amazing job. It's like the most, you're constantly curious, constantly searching, constantly meeting new people and experiences. Then they're all feeding into your work. So yeah, enjoy it.
Thank you. Thank
Yes.
you so much for being here today.
Thank
It's
you for your
lovely. It was really great, and I think there's a lot of wisdom in what you said today, and I'm sure this will be great for anyone who's going to watch this today. So thank you so much. I wish you all the best for whatever is coming next, and I'm looking forward to our next project. We still have to work on something, but
Yes, we
um,
do.
I see us working together over and over again, because I really love working with you, and I watched
Ditto.
the last two films that we did together yesterday again. And
Yes.
yeah, even though I hate watching myself, but
Don't say
watching
that.
you is you can't look away. That's the thing. Even if it's a very quiet um role, but yeah, it's hugely captivating. So I can't wait to work with you again. So
Me
thank you so
neither.
much for having the time today, and sharing your time and your experiences with us. And yeah, so thank
Pleasure.
you.
Absolute pleasure.
Thank you
Thank
also for
you.
watching this today, and thank you for supporting my channel. And yeah, you can do that with a like, you can do it by subscription, you can do it also on my Patreon page. I will link it down below, and we'll see each other next week again with another video. And because I think this format is really interesting and so helpful for everybody. We can learn so much all together from each other, that I'm going to continue doing this format on a quite regular basis. I just haven't worked out what that really means, but we'll see. So take care, have a lovely week, stay healthy, and stay creative. Bye bye.